Hello, welcome back to the Entrepreneur Investor Connection. Today I'm talking about collaborating on NFTs. I've been in rooms in Clubhouse all week, all multiple weeks, trying to figure out a model that will allow people to collaborate on NFTs. And I want to invite everyone up to start having a conversation about some of the things I've been hearing on Clubhouse about the best ways to collaborate on NFTs. And today I heard an amazing idea, and I wanted to share it with everyone, the community, and see who's interested in trying some of them out. And if you're listening, there's this URL, infinitecollabs.art. If you're interested and you have skills and you want to combine them with other people with skills, check that out, because I'm basically going to start creative directing or connecting people to create collabs. So today, I don't know how many of you are addicted to NFTs since I've heard about it. Hello, everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Today, I heard a creator talk about a collaboration he did with an artist named Drake. It's not the hip hop artist Drake. It's another one. I forgot his full name, but he has like 4 million followers on Instagram. They did a collaboration where the artist went to okay, so there's two artists here. There's the visual artist and the musician. The visual artist went to Drake, the musician, and said, "Hey, I want to collaborate with you on an NFT. But here's how it will work. You don't pay me anything. I'm going to make you," he called the Drake dollar. He said, "I'm going to make this piece of art for you, and you can we're going to make 100 of them together. And then what we're going to do is you're going to give me 10 of them. You're going to keep 90 of them. And that's my payment. Giving me 10 is my payment." So what ended up happening was the guy puts out the 100, and the artist said, I'm just going to wait to sell my 10 till after he sells all of his 90. So because it went out as Drake's official NFT, it gave it validity. And what Drake did is he transferred 10 of them to the artist. So now in that artist's wallet is 10 pieces of Drake art, right? Which he created, but it came out under Drake, so it gives it validity. So now what that artist is betting on, and it's a pretty smart bet, is that guy's fan base is going to go buy all 90 and then be looking for 10 more. And now he has an opportunity to either sell one or two to make the money that he would basically be asking this artist to pay him up front. Instead, he bet on the future of that NFT. And I think it was an amazing bet and a genius idea. And I'm already looking at how to implement it. So any questions about what I just said on the Clubhouse? Any questions about, or on the YouTube? I got people watching on YouTube too. No? So what I'm looking at is what the guy basically did was he took 10% equity in the project by saying, "Hey, you have 90. And I'll give you 10. I mean, you give me 10, you stay with 90. He basically took 10% of the project. And I thought that was genius, because he's not asking the artist to pay him anything up front, which those artists, most of the time, they will not do anyway. What he went to them and said, "Look, I'm going to do all the work. All you have to do is mint it on your name and give me 10 of them. And you're going to make money out of nothing. Literally, you don't have to do anything, but just put them out." So, of course, I'm sure that the collaboration, the guy had to make sure the artist was okay with them. If anybody is not talking, put themselves on mute. Unless you have a question, I'm open to questions. At any point, just ask. All right, so we got a question on YouTube. How come one person got 90 and the other got 10 instead of 50-50? Good question, right? If you're an artist and you have 4 million fans, you probably wouldn't want to do a 50-50, because you know the marketing going behind you, you're going to be able to sell them, right? So you are, as a visual artist, you're piggybacking on that musician artist fan base. So it does make sense that that person with a big brand would own more of them. But where it's smart is the more that are out there, the more value they all become. So I'm gonna tell you another story. There's this artist named Beeple, Beeple. He put out 100 NFTs for $1, like I think in November or something like that. Bunch of people bought them. There was a guy this today on Clubhouse talking about it. He said, I bought one. I was gonna buy the other one. I was gonna buy another one, and I didn't really like how it looked, so I didn't buy it. Right now, each one of those are selling for minimum $175,000 each. Think about that. The guy spent $1 and now it's worth 175K in less than 6 months, right? So that guy that took the 10% of them, took 10 instead of taking 50-50, what he's banking on is as then those 90 go out, they will create value for his 10. If he had 50 of them, he probably won't create as much value as if Drake sells 90 of them and then people are looking for the last 10. So in a way, it's a pretty genius way of creating a scarcity mentality in the collection space, because that's what this is all about. You're creating a collector's item. So if there's too many, it's not as good of a collector's item, right? If there's only 10 left, that becomes a huge opportunity for that artist, right? So I just thought it was pretty genius because he used $1 and he sold 100 of them. And he was even talking about now he has the opportunity to make sense and say, okay, now I can make 100 of every project with Drake. And he said they're already discussing more opportunities like that. And I just thought it was pretty smart. And I wanted to know from the artists, the collaborators in watching everywhere, what do you think about that model? Would you be willing to collaborate with another artist using that model? Would you go out, find an artist, which I'm already talking to a few based on this idea? I reached out to people immediately after I heard this, and I've started to ask people if they're willing to do this, right? I have 3 meetings lined up for tomorrow. One with a person with IP from Disney and 2 musicians, Fresh and Caesar. You know these musicians. So the idea is pretty good. But also what I see is this is going to change industries, right? Because the collectible idea was usually closed off to like certain industries. And I think it's opening that up to anyone now. Like I think you can make almost anything a collectible. Right? So now if you look at what this guy did, he created $1 for he created $1 for this artist, like a bill, and he's selling 100 of them to his audience. Before, how would that have worked if you was an artist and you wanted to create a collectible? You needed to like put out maybe a t-shirt, or in your concert you had a lanyard, and people that went there, they would collect them and maybe resell them, or you signed something on the street while they were walking. But now out of thin air, this guy created $1, put it out there, and that artist stands to gain a significant amount of money. I'm not sure if it'll ever go to the Beeple level of 175K per, but with enough time, it may, if that artist Drake becomes huge and his fan base in many years wants that first ever NFT, that artist has 10 of them. He doesn't have to sell them all. He could sell 1 or 2 and make way more money than if he would have just took money for payments for doing that art. And that brings me to why I believe NFTs are like so powerful. It brings together 4 things that I love. Creativity, right? We all grow up wanting to be creative, and we shift that thought because we need to make money. And we know it's really hard to make money as a creative, the starving artist thing, right? Then it brings together technology. This is all happening because what's called a smart contract. Written in the money is code. I didn't say this part. Every future sale is written in the code that artist and the musician and artist are going to make money on every future sale. I don't know actually if Drake put that in for the artist or he just gave him the 10, but Drake is going to make a percentage of every sale, right? So for Beeple's example, I heard that Beeple has 30% of every future resale. So think about how awesome this is, right? If you think about brands like Supreme prints out a certain amount of clothing knowing that the resale market makes their brand hot, right? They could print out enough shirts so every person can buy them, but they don't. They print out limited runs. So you got to be there to get it, and then everybody wants it. And if you have it, that means you were hot and you got it, right? So what this does is it creates this scenario where you can make anything that, right? So what happens is Beeple, remember what I told you, each one is going for 175K minimum. If Beeple is making 30% on all those 175K sales, 100 of them, that means Beeple on that one piece of art is going to make at minimum $5 million. Think about that. Off art that he already sold. That has never really been possible. If you sell a painting and you die and somebody sells that painting 10, 100 years later for $100 million, your family doesn't make anything. So now with this world, this Beeple example, and this, now Sons of Leon they're about to release their next album as a NFT. This world is kind of just shaping itself right in front of us. And I just want to start to get the discussion going. You're Jalen Smith. What's up? Meta Bronx in the house. All right. So anybody in the audience, any questions based on what I said right now? Got a quiet crowd today. Just collaborations. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, actually, that's more of a comment. I mean, I think it also expands itself not just to a physical item or an art piece. I think it's also experiences. I'm starting to see talks about people doing this where you can sell a limited experience in a physical space as well as a digital space. And that can be also something that can be put on NFT and sold.
So that's a really interesting thing about NFTs, right? So right now, an NFT, and I'll show you my first NFT. I put up an NFT the other day. It's an illustration I did in the summer based on my Meta Bronx students wanting me to make a game, right? So I put it up, but I'm not selling it, right? I'm going to leave it there. But what NFTs allow is for you to create something called unlockable content. If you think about it, this is like having a toy, but having it in the wrapping, right? You can open that toy, but then it becomes a lot less valuable. The difference between NFTs is you don't know what's inside that wrapping. Unless the person, like I would say it, oh, in here is XYZ, then you know what's in there. But what they're talking about right now is creating NFTs where you don't know what's inside it. So it creates this like, there was one group that said they were creating an NFT where they were going to sell 100 of them. And they were all going to have unlockable content. But in one of them, there was going to be one Bitcoin. So randomly, somebody out that 100 is going to make $50,000 if they sell the Bitcoin, because that Bitcoin one day could go to $500,000, $1 million, who knows? So that is super, super cool. Another idea that's been going around, and I'm in it, is a bunch of artists are going to start throwing other people's art in their unlockable content. So a bunch of us, let's say you buy a well-known artist NFT. When you open the unlockable content, you'll find that person's art, but then you'll find all of our art as well. And you're going to look and you'll be like, oh, I want to buy this person's art. So this is all brand new. So a lot of people are starting to really get in there.
Yeah, dude. What I liked about the that Bitcoin hidden, it's in that Banksy burn room this morning. I think was happening.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that too. Remind me to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that Banksy burn room, they'd opened up a new concept because what that NFT, that Bitcoin and the NFT did was it raised the price dramatically for all the NFTs. So people were bidding because you had a random chance of getting that one Bitcoin.
50K,
right?
Yeah.
But then, it was successful because no one got the Bitcoin till like the very end. And I think no one really speculated, but I think the last three that were available got really high in price because No, sorry.
Because everybody knew that they hadn't got it yet, so people knew.
Someone had got it, so people were bidding, but then someone claimed they had got it. So the last remaining NFTs lost value dramatically too, like it just sunk.
But they were lying. The person lied.
Yeah, did it lie? Okay, so then the last few that were remaining, that sunk because if someone actually found it, they got it, and then the value of every other thing's went to shit. And I'm looking at the people one because I'm following them on Twitter only because of Clubhouse. I got a Twitter account again.
I know, right? Me too. Me too.
It's ridiculous. I got to go back retrograde. But the people stuff, there were 10 sales of that piece of art, and it's still 95 unsold because the price is just dramatic. It's just too high, man. Like he's now one of the rock stars in the field, in this new NFT world, and he's able to do things that possibly the group here can't at the moment because we're unknown. But if you link up with an artist who can elevate,
exactly,
that's where the collab has a lot of potential.
That's why I think it's worth going to artists that are higher level than and saying, look, I'll do the collab, because you basically get the cosign right there, right? If you have a collab with a big time artist, people are gonna be like, who is this person? And now,
well, you and I
Reno, we got the art and design crew here. Go ahead. What you got? All right, I think you had a comment because I've been bothering Reno. Reno is the one of the illest artists I ever met. We went to high school together, me, him, and Omar, high school of art and design. And when I saw Reno's first piece of art, I felt like not drawing anymore ever. So he still draws ridiculously well. Omar too.
He's got like 100,000 followers on Instagram, I think.
Yeah.
Celebrity.
So I'm trying to get Reno to do a collab with me so I could be to his level, I'm like, look, we went to high school together. Come on.
Right? Throw the little guys a bone.
I know. Right?
He's like, get the fuck out of here. I ain't collabing with none of you.
I don't even know you guys anymore.
Yeah.
So anybody got any questions?
Let me chime in because let me figure out this idea, because again, me and you are talking, and the people in these rooms are literally talking about almost that one-on-one collab, which we're all familiar with, where it's easy to have these simple contracts. Mm-hmm. And what you and I were talking about the other day was like an agency environment where you're having some type of structure where there's more than two people now. And I was thinking about it after the room ended, like you need to set up the parameters up front. And what I mean by that is so that everyone's in agreement, like that. The Drake and his artist agreement was right up front. Like, I'm going to do 100. I'm going to take 90. You're going to take 10. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? The guy said, yes, of course. That's the agreement up front. I think if you start doing an agency environment where you start have a hierarchy of individuals who are going to be doing different tasks, that the parameters need to be set up front so everyone can agree right off the bat.
But I think this makes it a little easier. It feels like a little bit eeasier for me right now, right? Because if I can say, hey, you're going to get 3, you're going to get 5, you're going to get 3, and you just, however long you want to hold it, that's on you, right?
Right. But that is, again, that comes down into the old mindset of percentages, right?
That's true, though. That's true. That is true.
Into like, if you're the guy who's constructing the team, and you're like, well, I'm bringing all of us together because I have this great collab with this artist. I'm gonna take 25, and I'm gonna give each of you guys 5, and like,
yeah, I know.
Gonna get 3.
I know. It's still, but at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta really like be humble about it and understand that there are gonna be people that do more work, right? Like we all creatives.
That's a good thing. I like you. You always say that too. Here's the funny thing about that. I was thinking about that exact point. You said there's always people who can do the work, and that's subjective at this point.
True,
because
that's true.
I was looking at Milan. I think Milan. He's not here, but he's an architectural student.
He's here.
He's somewhere. But I think he's an architectural student. Somebody was mentioning architecture, right? And you go, the architect who came up with the idea to construct the building, the blueprint to put the building up, was the intellectual property, and his intellect is worth more than the people laying the brick, because that's unskilled labor, even though they might put in a ton more work.
That's true. And think about the influencer, like if there's a person has a huge following, right?
Right. Again, it doesn't really matter. Again, it just has to come back into everyone agreeing on what their shared value is. And I think with this NFT space, it seems to be a little bit more friendlier than a traditional agency environment. I think you can get away with saying, hey, look, we all have the potential to do what we want with our investment, because that's what it is. Like you said, you can hold on to these tokens
for an extended period of time to be like, well, will this gain value or will it not? You know, and that's where that value of your own decision making goes into play. Like
how much money you make is based on how long you can hold it, right? Like how long you're willing to hold it.
It is that. Well, like you could the whole Bitcoin thing, the hidden NFT inside of an NFT is that you can debunk that value, and that's what sucks because if
well, now that you said that, I would think, I'm not sure if you could do this yet, but I'm sure with code you could do anything. I would say that the unlock doesn't happen till all of them are bought, because that definitely throws off.
Yes, it throws off
the whole thing. If the first one would have got it, everybody else would have been like, "Yeah, I'm not buying that." You know,
I'm done. No value.
So we got a question from the YouTube from one of the Meta Bronx crew. All right, I missed a little bit. Is there any way for filmmakers to make money off this? I spoke about this earlier, but I'll bring it up again for the new people that got here. There was a filmmaker who's a director, and I know some directors and stuff like that on the call. The director said, I've made some of the biggest music videos ever, and I just got paid for that day. But if I would have took behind the scenes footage and put that out under me, I can make money forever off my directing. And that to me was like, whoa, he's right. But where I didn't know if that was okay, again, we need some lawyers in this space, is can he do that if there's if it's a big time celebrity? I'm pretty sure he can, but I don't know. This is where it's the Wild Wild West, and I'm not sure. Any ideas on that?
Yeah, Miguel, I'm going to chime in. This is fresh, everybody. It's all about clearance and appearance releases. If he gets a release for the material, likeness, usage and imagery, then yeah, he can do whatever he wants with it.
Is that normal on a set? Like, because I know now there's going to be NFT laws.
Not.
It's not.
Usually prior to getting on set, you're signing an NDA first, and then you're signing a release as well that allows you to be on the BTS.
But the celebrity won't sign that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're employed or hired under, especially with their, you're likely insured through their workers' comp, then you can't just take material as an employee, even if it's a freelancer for that day, and you can't monetize it. That's insane. No.
So, but I think now with this NFT thing, there's going to be different contracts, right? Like the whole world.
Oh, for sure. I want to ask you though, about the collab, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a collaboration, let's say 10 artists get together, can that, and it would be like, let's say a series, right? That NFT would be a series of a collaboration of 10 artists. But is it possible that it's more than one item? Like each artist contributes a piece of whatever, but does it all have to be in the same medium, like the same format? That's
the beauty of this. This is all being created. Like that guy who came up with the 10 piece thing out of the 100, we all were like bowing down to him for coming up with a good solution. But he's like, we just tested it. It worked. We didn't know. We just tried. So this is where we're going, right? We all just going to have to try. And that's where it's also a cool, fun time to be in this world. It's like, it's the Wild Wild West. We can just try things and see what works. So right now, I do believe there's everything I hear is like one or two people collaborating. And that's where like, I'm trying to figure out how to get to more bigger numbers. Like when we create things for agencies, right? Like I hired like 10 people to create a video. So if there's a way to have all those 10 people win, that's interesting to me. But again, how do you break it up, right? Like how, me as a creative director that to hire and deal with the client and do all this stuff. How does that differ from the person who's holding the mic or has setting up the lights, right? It's like, I don't know what the percentage split is. But I know what I do when I do that in real life. I say, okay, I have this budget for this skill set. I have this budget for this skill set. And then I talk to different people that have that skill set. And the people who are willing to take that budget are the ones that I hire, right? But that's a lot of times based on the client giving me a budget, right? But with this open space of let's collab, there's really no budget. It's really about how much you want to put in to the project. So that's where it gets a little bit dicey, because it's like, well, I'm a sound designer and I want to spend 1,000 hours. And it's like, no, I don't need you to spend 1,000 hours.
No, that goes into that flat rate paradigm where it's like, you know what, I got $1,000. Do you want it or not? And they say, yeah, well, that's on you how many hours you want to spend on it. If you want to spend 1,000 hours, well, that's $1 an hour. That's on you, you know? Like, if you can do it in 5 hours, awesome. You know, that really comes to everything that's being talked up front on what you want to agree to. And I think that's where the problem per project will work itself out with who you want to collaborate with and how they want to be a part of that project.
Anybody else have any insights on what we're talking about?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, regarding an overall of this. I feel like for the artist, it's no risk, all reward. It's like the only risk is their ego if it doesn't sell, if it doesn't. But then when they die, it could still sell. It's like that,
there is a little bit of a risk. There's a little bit of risk because the other night Paris Hilton came on the Clubhouse and she was like, "All right, tell me how to do this." Because Lindsay Lohan did it wrong. She just put something out and the fan base just like, they literally burned her thing, which I'll bring up somebody else who just burned something that was really awesome. But so Paris Hilton got in and she started having conversations. She was taking notes and she's like, look, I want to do this right, but I have one reservation. I don't want people putting out art of me that I don't like, right? Like, I know people are going to do weird stuff with my face and stuff, and I don't want that. So I do see this again, client agency relationship where the star needs to approve what goes out, right? The same way agency has to and Pepsi has to, right? I can see that dynamic needing to be done so it doesn't feel like, I don't like that. I don't like that art, but I have to have it out there and I got to put it out myself. You know, I don't know about that. So that's where I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah. Feels very restrictive. If I was a person purchasing it and I had, my own idea for what I want to do with it, look at it and stare at it in the closet or actually take it and repurpose it creatively.
Well, that's different. I'm talking about the artist. Once you buy it, you can do whatever you want. But we're talking about like the people collaborating to make the piece of art.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Are there any laws in place or legalities like that right now with NFT and like Ethereum and all that stuff, like, or is it really is just the Wild West?
It's seriously the Wild West right now. Nobody, me and Omar in these rooms 24 hours a day. I haven't heard of anybody getting a cease and desist yet. The problem is, if you understand the blockchain is forever. So if you do something wrong right now, I don't know if there's gonna be like a statute of limitation. In the future, you might get a big ass lawsuit,
Dude, they become a fucking millionaire now.
Yeah, I'll take that.
It's so lawless. Miguel and I were in his room this morning. Some guy was talking about how literally governments can't even go after the people who take like your crypto coins or like
people
like they start up a site. If the state legislation says we no longer accept crypto, these guys shut down their site with all your cryptocurrency on there, like your wallets, and it's just gone, and you can't even get that shit back.
So this is super Wild West. So it's to the point, right, where some woman really broke it down really cool. She said it's like going to a concert and taking out money from the bank and putting it in your wallet in a fanny pack, right? But the fanny pack is see-through and your wallet is see-through. So what that means is you have a wallet, but it's public information. So if you got $1 million on that wallet, everybody in the whole world could see it because of the blockchain currently, right? So that's a problem, right? But you don't keep $1 million in your wallet, because people can see. You just use it for whatever you're going to buy, and then you take it out and put it back in the bank. So the problem is, because this is so new, the real banks are getting mad at the crypto banks because they know the innovation is coming so fast that they're about to get taken out. It's like the cab companies with Uber, the hotel chains with Airbnb. They see it and they don't know what to do about it. So they're trying to slow it down through regulation. So in New York, there's a regulation that won't even let you buy a bunch of coins. But that also means that anytime they could probably shut down some of these things. So you got to take it off these exchanges. So when you buy right now, if you buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever you buy on Coinbase, there's these things called cold wallets where you can export the coin into a cold wallet and then it's off these exchanges. You could put that anywhere. You could keep it in your house. You could keep it in a safety deposit box in a bank. Oh, who's on? Just mute yourself. You're not talking. Right, and this is super Wild Wild West stuff, but it's exciting because it's so new that we all have opportunities just by being in this room and understanding what we understand. We're light years ahead of the general public because the general public doesn't know about Ethereum. 1% of the whole world owns cryptocurrency, and that's all cryptocurrency, not just Ethereum. Many people do not even know what NFT means, right? They don't have no idea. It's just started maybe 6 months ago, but the world woke up to it probably in the last month, right? And in Clubhouse is where it's really going down. Clubhouses right now is like going to MIT and every conference in the world 24/7. You can literally, if anybody has been in a space, you go to conferences. The real learning doesn't happen by listening to the speakers. It's after when you speak to the people in the crowd. So now what Clubhouse is creating is that environment 24/7. What were you going to say?
I was there. Mike just got unmuted. Yeah, I had to agree to that point. Hi, this is Armin from Crypto Valley in Zug, Switzerland. Yeah, I just had another question I wanted to ask, but I can wait.
No, go ahead. Ask it. I'm talking too much. I want to create the conversation.
Sure, yeah. We're currently working on an NFT-related project, like an agency style, and I just wanted to ask, do you need a kind of consent of your artist you want to create an NFT of? I mean, we are sitting on a bunch of artwork from several different artists here and there with a certain value. And my question was, should we approach all of them individually and get their consent, get a contract or something going before creating the NFTs out of it? Or is there any other kind of standard procedure on that process?
So this is where it's Wild Wild West, and you get to make that decision, but you also should understand the possible repercussions of that decision, right? The way, like, we have people in this room right now that have content for days on the biggest celebrities in the world, but we're not putting that out yet because we're trying to understand the rules. Because if you do it wrong, like we said, it's on the blockchain forever. And when they put the laws out, you could have sold that thing for 10 million, but they're suing you for 15. Who the hell knows? So we don't know. But there was a person that said, I'm going to do it anyway. And if they sue me, they sue me. It'll be a story and it'll make the rest of my art more valuable. Again, it's the Banksy idea and all this stuff, right? And here's another thing that just happened yesterday, last night. It's how new all this is happening. There was a person that had a Banksy, a real life Banksy. I think it was worth $250K or something like that. He called one of the people in the Clubhouse and said, come to where I am. I'm going to do something. I want you to record it. The guy lit the Banksy on fire to burn it because he said he didn't want a physical version of it to exist. He only wanted a digital NFT version to exist because it would make the NFT version that much more valuable, because he believed that as long as there was a physical version, there wouldn't be the same value of the digital version. So by burning it live and having everyone see it live on social media, he was basically transferring the value all to the digital NFT. And that is super interesting because I was talking to actually Paco, who's here now, and he was in one of the rooms, and he was talking about an art collector was saying that he's an art collector, but he can't even buy more art because he doesn't have a place to store it. So he's like, I think this digital thing is going to be better for us than making us have to figure out where to store this art. Paco, do you have anything to say about that?
No, I thought it was fascinating. No.
Oh, your connection is a little slow.
It's funny that you said that because
and I want to get rid of it, but there was also a conversation about which, at the tender age of 82, you guys keep turning my head around, and saying like things like, you don't need to even have the originals, anymore. And some guy jumped up and said, well, that doesn't apply to baseball cards. And he said, no, it applies to everything. So it's very difficult for people who've been living
this different format or way of thinking, collections and all of that, to put their arms around this whole issue of this digital platform that is just as good as anything else or even better. And the fact that you could still make even more money than having $5 million worth of art stuck somewhere in
some factory.
Nobody sees it, nobody enjoys it.
You know what's crazy? One of my offices where we just moved from, we had to change offices. There was a art collection space where this guy just stored rich people's art. That was it. It was like a place where millions and millions of dollars of art was just sitting there because the collectors didn't want it in their house. So they're paying this person thousands of dollars to keep it safe. And that's not even this is where this whole tech thing starts to change industries. So somebody else had a question. Was it you, Reno?
Oh, no, I was just saying that whole thing is very interesting, that your collectors run out of space. I mean, I've had fans that literally tell me that they don't purchase commissions or artwork from me anymore because they have no more room.
Yeah.
Now with digital, you do.
Yeah, unlimited. And think about, where's this going, right? The virtual world is next, right? So think about being able to have your art up in Fortnite and you getting money off that. That's the future of this, but the physical, that's not even an option,
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that. Like, what do you think about waiting the next thing will be NFTs, like the Decentraland, and having like exclusive art galleries that you can collab with, and basically storing everybody's art in there. And
so they're working on it. They're working on it already. Yeah. So
I know, I want to build. I want to build like plazas for that.
What you say, Zerodian?
Isn't that little like crypto voxels, the thing you are talking about?
Yeah, that's crypto voxels.
Yeah. But there's also Decentraland. There's Super World. There's all these like virtual worlds.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah, there's a lot.
So, but this is an interesting time. So there's a question on YouTube. So this person would make more money by saving the art because releasing it at the wrong time could affect them. Yes. So basically, art is the value is created based on a lot of things, right? So for instance, most artists, the first time that piece was sold, it wasn't sold for what it is worth now. It gains value over time, and most people buying it from other people. So if I bought it off you for 1,000, and the next person buys it off me for 10,000, the next person buys it off me for 100,000. That may take 20 years, but now that is worth 100,000, not 1,000. The beauty of this though is every time it's sold, that original artist will get a percentage of that sale. They just need to write in the contract how much percent they want. You could do 10%. I've heard as high as 30%. I've heard people are going to go as high as 50%, but we'll see. This is the Wild Wild West. Any other questions or comments?
On the topic of burning, that's interesting, right? But like, if you look out long term, we don't know which way this is going to go, right? Like, in the future, the physical item might have super more value when everything becomes digital, right? It's a scarcity thing again, but flip back on the other side.
That's true. So, that's true.
It was interesting to hear about the burning, though.
I think they're going to coexist. I think everything's going to be coexisting, because just like, people have MP3s of music and we're streaming now, doesn't mean people aren't buying vinyl still, So I think the collectors who like to see it and experience it firsthand will always have their collections. And I think the people who are more in tune with this virtual space will collect in the virtual space. And I think it gives high-end collectors the ability to operate in both, which I think is great. So I wouldn't be worried about the burning or having things. I think the burning itself was just as a statement to say, how do we increase the value of an NFT if there is a physical representation of it? And I think that's what they were trying to make the point of, like, well, there's no more physical representation. The only way you can get this art is now.
So he just made his NFT that much more valuable by doing that.
Well, right. But isn't it the way to draw attention to anything? Obviously, if we haven't noticed in the past 10 years, it's to get the headline, like to create a bubble of thought that's like, wow, this thing, everybody needs to check it out. So
yeah, man, I was thinking about that when I was hearing them talk about it. I was like,
Yeah.
man, they did it for the spectacle of it, you know, because it's literally some young kid. And this, look, to back up on that Banksy thing, it was a limited run of like 100. And other people who are familiar with Banksy, I'm sure some of you guys are too, he doesn't do a run of 100. And it was on a piece of paper. Like, you know, he usually does like 25 canvases. And back in his early days, he probably did editions of 35. You know, I've been to a bunch of his exhibits. But so this kid got lucky for a couple of $100 grand. I think it was like you said, he spent like 20 grand on it. It was worth 175 grand. And he just burned it. But there's still 99 more of those things out there in the world. So he burned one of them, you know?
That's true. But he knew what he was doing by going live with it, right? Like at the end of the day, he could have done it and not told anybody. But now everybody's like, oh, that's the one that the guy burned it. So it's worth more, you know? It's all based on like, you know, the showmanship of it all.
Right. But then I think we're going to see some big innovation with how people do the showman stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you look at like the fashion shows now, the way they deliver invitations or award ceremonies, invitations are amazing. And then the shows that they put on, way more virtual than ever before.
So they're talking about doing something called a proof of attendance token. So in the virtual world and in the physical world, there'll be this token that you get for going to things, and that'll be worth something, right? So right now they're saying that there's a one that you can find in Decentraland of a Beeple art show. And if you find it, it's free, but it's going to be worth money one day. So they're saying, go and find it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure people are going around looking for it. I might do it. We'll see. Another big thing that I heard about was, damn, what was it? I forgot. There was another. Go ahead.
Can I chime in on a positive thing when you're talking about burning? The statement of burning was one aspect, the real world burning. But I heard in one of these other rooms that they did two artists collabed on an NFT. It was a joint NFT. Each one did their own piece. So you had two separate NFTs. And what you could do was combine them. So you would basically take
to have the full thing.
And then when you combine them, it turned into a third NFT and then burned the previous two. So like when you had your Pokemon and you leveled up the Pokemon,
wow,
that previous state of the Pokemon is no longer there and you only have that like supercharged Pokemon. That's what these two guys did. So when they combined their NFTs, it created a third, but then the two previous ones went away. And I thought that was pretty fucking ingenious. I was like, wow.
How the hell they do that? See, this is so crazy.
I mean, Miguel, that kind of sounds like where you started the call, where if you do collaborations, and I want to touch on story being an impactful thing to price, but each collaboration, you put 10 into one, like how Omar just said, right? And then the value is now in the one.
Yeah, no. The collaboration part of this, I believe, is the biggest opportunity. That's why I want to start making these rooms, because think about it, right? Think about what I said with the ones where they're putting other people's art inside the unlockable content. What if one of those people ends up being the next Beeple, and the other people in that unlockable content, they get a boost in brand exposure like never possible, right? Like you can't get that type of association. I don't know. I haven't been in the art world like that, but I've never heard of something like that where you can get your come up just by being inside of a file of somebody else's. It's pretty crazy time. So there was another question from YouTube. All right. So do you think NFTs and Clubhouse are a good place for business opportunities? 1,000% yes. If anybody, we're all on Clubhouse. Everybody on Clubhouse is pretty positive, gives good information, and everybody on there right now, because it's invite only, is trying to do something. So it's a pretty high level community of people willing to give back. And that's where I believe that's why this NFT thing is growing so fast, because in the past, I've been in the places where it was early in technology. And like I said, I would have to travel to conferences, pay money to be in conferences, be in the hallways, be in the after parties, meet a bunch of people to get all this information over years, where right now I could just wake up and turn on my phone and have a conversation with people all over the world 24/7. So I believe this like mix of Clubhouse and NFT coming up at the same time is just exploding the growth of it. It's just, in my opinion, it's one of the major reasons this is happening so fast. What do you guys think?
What's going on? Yeah, I'm Caesar. Just wanted to add to that the power of Clubhouse. I was in the room, the NFT room earlier, and the guy that was speaking, he just dropped his NFT, and one of the guys that was in the room with him, he said, "Oh my God, but my NFT just went to $5,000. Did you just buy that?" In the room, live.
Somebody in the room, right? Yeah.
In the room, just bought his NFT in the room, right?
Yep.
So he was like, "Man, you should have never said that. Now somebody gonna fight me for this thing, right?" And it's gonna go up, right? So the support in these rooms and the community is so huge, and to hear it live while I'm listening to it was powerful. So I just wanted to add that.
No, that's good. That's good. I wasn't in there. That was one of my few times not being in the room, so I didn't even hear that. But there was another thing that came up that I was like, it gives me goosebumps every time I say it. This woman was talking in a room about growing her business and whatever she was working on. So she's asking questions and everybody's giving her answers. And then at the end of it, she says, "Oh, I didn't tell you guys, but I broke my back and I've been laying in bed for 2 months and I have about 6 more months where I can barely move. But because of Clubhouse, I'm growing my business and making money because I don't need anything other than my phone to be on and me to talk." And I was like, has that ever really been possible before? I don't think so. What'd you say?
I just said that's amazing, man.
Yeah, no doubt. It was crazy. I was like, holy crap. But she's right. She's right, because while she was saying it, I was laying in my bed listening. And I'm like, wow, yes, this is definitely possible. So it's a pretty exciting time, I believe, with all these things happening at the same exact time. But my main goal here for this room, to reset the room, which is another thing these Clubhouse rooms do, is how can we start creating collaborations? So like, I like the idea of the 10 out of the 100. I'm already going to start pitching that tomorrow. I have 3 meetings about it. And of course we got people in this room that I'm partners with that we're going to figure out how to do this with more people. But any other ideas on how to start this collaboration, or everybody go to infinitecollabs.art to put what skill set you have and what skill set you want to connect with. And I'm going to try to create these collaborations. So any thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, I'm down to invest in Decentraland if anybody wants to build a plaza or a place in Decentraland.
How much does it cost to invest in Decentraland?
The cheapest plot that I saw yesterday was $3,000, man. It went
Whoa.
Yeah, it went to $10. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
How much space in Decentraland do you get for $3,000?
It's like not that big, but you can build a lot because you got to figure like you can kind of fit it in how you want.
And you got air rights. You could go as high as you want. You go to space.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like how high up can you go? If the plot is you can
keep building up. I don't think there's a cap on the level.
That's pretty cool then.
Cap on the linear.
The only problem I have with Decentraland and Superworld and all this is I'm a veteran in this tech world, and I remember Second Life, and I remember brands, and I worked at an agency where the owner bought a big plot of land in Second Life for like $40,000. And we were all like, are you crazy? And he's like, this is the future. This is the future. I'm telling you. Microsoft was buying pieces of land and holding conferences. And now that doesn't even exist anymore. So, or if it does, I haven't heard about it forever. So that's where I'm a little weary. And then hearing about all the different ones that exist, it's like, what if you buy a bunch of land on the one that doesn't end up winning, you know?
It'd be like investing in Friendster.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think Decentraland is going to be like that, though. I think it's kind of one of those things where you have to build the reason for people to go. So if let's say like Rihanna had her own spot there, and she's like, I'm going to be there every Friday, then people are going to go to Decentraland. You just have to. But that's how
Second Life was like that too. There was artists having concerts in Second Life, and millions of people were going.
So many millions of dollars were put in Second Life. I remember, like you said, in an agency where guys were talking about, we're going to just advertise in Second Life now. We're going to develop product lines. I was like, this is cool. And I was like, it's exciting. But like you said, I was like, how long is this going to last? And then it kind of just fizzled out.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
The difference between now and then, though, is there's more places where it could be visited, right? Back then, It was very low level, browser based, or maybe there was an app. I don't remember. But now you got virtual reality, you got AR. There's games that maybe can make, but I don't know. This is the thing. These are all gambles.
You need one of these, one dev crew, one dev team to like stand out from the rest, where everyone will migrate to, and that's the one that'll have longevity. It's kind of like the social networks. You know, Friendster came and went. Then MySpace was really big, but they didn't know how to scale up. And then Facebook took over, and now Facebook seems to be the norm. You know, so I think with these virtual worlds, there's going to be that little battle. You know, for every Coca-Cola, there's a Pepsi, right? So there'll probably one or two, and then those two will be the forefront. And you just have to wait it out and see where people start migrating to.
So the one.
You know, because the Decentraland, they're going to make the people own it. There's not going to be anybody from the Decentraland actually owning it.
See, but I was looking at another one the other day called, I think, Super World, where you can literally buy actual land on Earth. So I was looking like on my old block where I grew up in the Bronx, and I was like, wow, it'd be cool to buy my own block. And I grew up where the Joker steps are. So remember that whole time where everybody wanted to go see the Joker steps? I was like, whoa, if I could buy that piece of land, and anytime somebody wants to go see the Joker steps, I have some cool stuff around it, but I'm not sure if it's going to exist, you know, so I'm not going to spend, I think it was $175 to buy my block, which is not that much, but if it disappears, it is, you know.
Miguel, can you repeat the website?
It's called Super World. I don't remember the URL. Let me see.
The one where we could list our, like what we can do.
InfiniteCollabs.art. It's the name of the room.
Oh, because and it's just here, right? And on this.
No. There's a website that has a form that you can fill out.
I just try to log in, and it says that it's there's nothing there. Infinite Collapse.
So DM me. Just DM me, and I'll give you the link.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Hi everyone.
All right. So, any other questions from anybody? I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Reno, go on. So you unmute your mic for me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be the negative Nancy or whatever. What's to stop someone from actually just pretending to be someone else when they're selling NFTs?
Good point. And there's been people talking about that. Like, I can make myself look like Kanye West and post something. The difference is on the blockchain. And when Kanye West actually says, "This is me," everybody's going to know you were fake. I mean, not to say you didn't probably make millions of dollars. There's no way to take it back, though. So, again, Wild Wild West, man. We're in the Wild Wild West.
I'm even thinking, like, you know, because this happens to me sometimes, too, where someone will take my artwork and post it on their Instagram account and pretend it's theirs.
No.
So can you essentially do the same thing with NFTs?
So far,
how do you combat that?
Who's going to say something? Go ahead.
I was gonna say no, because it's that blockchain that holds it. So as soon as you write or you mint your art onto the blockchain, they know it comes exactly from you. And
yeah, but this is the thing. What Reno is saying is, what if he doesn't do it and somebody does it before him?
Yes.
Is there already a chain analysis tool to reverse engineer any kind of blocks or NFT codes?
Nope. This is the start of the gold rush right now. People are just starting to make their way to California. There's nothing.
That just opens the door for an opportunity to create a verification.
They said eventually they will create some AI that it will be like the patent office on steroids, where the AI can run through everything on the blockchain and verify that it's not a copy. But again, somebody needs to build that, and that business will probably be a multi-trillion-dollar business. There's so much opportunity here, right? It's like they say in the gold rush, the people that made the money were not the people going after the gold. It was the people making picks and shovels and selling them to all the people going for the gold. So stuff like that is going to make money, right? So that's where it's like, let's be smart this time and make some picks and shovels and own them instead of only going after the gold. You know, that's my thought.
I think there's still a digital footprint, Dazzin, because, you know, stuff like you and I have a lot of content on Instagram at the moment. And, you know, as a creative director, I know I've swiped images from the web to do, you know, some pitch work.
You bet.
So I know my...
He said you. Omar, why would you say that live on globally televised my show?
I know, but I know my artwork is also, my photos are also susceptible to being swiped right now. But I think in terms of trying to sell it as an NFT, the power that you and I have as proof is that we have the date that we published it, number one, and two, we also have the file creation date on our computers. So if you need, there's no legal parameters. That's the unfortunate part. But if you do get into some, a war with someone say, well, that's my art, you can prove one date you created it and when you posted it, because you will have that paper trail to your social media accounts, or even the file creation date on your computer, like I do. So
there's another thing that I saw, but I'm not sure how it works on the resale yet, where you can mint a tweet for free. This company, I think it's called v.cent, like CENT.co. So you pick your tweet, and then it puts it on the blockchain for you for free. But the thing is, you could do that with anybody's, but if it's on your tweet and then you also mint it, that's kind of multiple verifications that it's yours, right? But the thing is, I'm not sure if somebody ends up buying it and somebody else buys it and they buy it, if you get a percentage, because I didn't see how that works in there, but I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But
Can
you
please repeat the name of the web page?
V as in Victor, dot
Okay.
C as in car, E as in entertainment, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, dot C as in car, O as in organization.
Thank you very much.
V.cent.co. So yeah, I guess we've been up here for an hour. I'll keep it going, but I just want to, any questions?
Miguel, I want to make some comments, and we hit into each other this morning, and in some other rooms as well. I listened also to your story, and I'd like to mention that you are an awesome storyteller and also accelerator.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you had a big talent in this, bro, and I'd like to connect with you, and I believe that we will do many things. I have two questions, basically. One of them is Omar and also Zerodium. I'm calling the other part of the world. I'm calling from Warsaw, Poland. And so it is now 1 o'clock in the morning right now.
Same here.
See what I mean? This guy's on live and it's 1 o'clock in the morning where he lives.
After these NFT things, I think, and that started like my sleepless nights. But what's going on is unbelievably like revolutionary, and without off limits. And the one question to Zerodium, and when I was talking also with people in Poland, and almost even like my artist friends, gallery owners, and none of them like know about this apart from very individual guys. And so I want to understand then how is the situation like in Swiss picture, and how is the approach of the other people, the traditional artists and the galleries. And this is my question to you and to Omar. And I love your work, Omar. You did excellent photos. And what do you have in your mind? Because you wanna use when you are creating NFTs, because that is the main questions I have when I open up rooms, also in Turkish, in Polish here. And you wanna do this NFT and the digital part of your photos, or do collaborations. I know some of the different versions of collaboration, but I'd like to hear and what are your plans, and how do you wanna do this? Thank you very much.
So there was a few questions there. Omar, why don't you take the first, or anybody answer?
Okay, sure. Thanks, Mahet. Appreciate that. Thanks for standing up with us as well. It's great to hear that you're around the globe. And thank you for the compliment on my work. I'm wrapping my head around this, and that's why I'm in a lot of these rooms, like Miguel, just, as many hours as I can spend to hear the different concepts other artists have trying to translate their work. Some are getting a perspective of creating work within the NFT space with the concept of just creating artwork for the NFT space. Other artists, which I agree with, are like, no, you stay true to yourself and you put up the art that you feel represents you and let the audience come to you, So with the photos, I think I'm in a decent spot right now because there's not a lot of photographers doing work in the NFT space. It's a lot of 3D artists, a lot of cyber art, computer art generated work. And so I'm trying to figure out how to take the photographs and make them a little bit more NFT friendly, I would suggest, to create a dimension to them, because the flat representation of the photos works great for like Instagram or like printing them out in your house. But the NFT world seems to be, in the virtual world, seems to be 3D space. And so a lot of those arts are geared towards that concept of 3D. And so I'm trying to turn my photos into a 3D type still, if that makes sense.
Very good.
Yeah, I agree. And thanks, Mehmet, for the kind words. I think you just it's kind of like any artist, right? There's a blank canvas. You got to start by just making some type of dent, like just start, right? That's why I posted mine so fast. I didn't want to think about it too much, but I'm kind of like that, Paco. Me and Paco always talk about it. I'm the type that I jump out the window and I build the plane as I fall. I'm not going to overthink it and then never do it, right? I rather learn as I'm in the moment, and that's just how I roll. But I believe in art, that's kind of what you got to do, right? Because you could just stare at that blank canvas and not make a move, right? But you're gonna have to just try, and not to say you got to even sell it, because I put the first one up and I'm not gonna sell it. I just want it up. I wanted it there as like history for me, and then as I go, I'll make more.
Tim, I'm trying to get up there as fast as I can and just like, throw everything to the wall, see what sticks. And like you said, like a lot of other rooms, they're saying there's such a high saturation in the NFT market right now that, you might not get visibility, but it doesn't matter.
Think about how much worse it's going to get though, right?
Yeah, it is. But like, I think the being that in these rooms right now, I think the process of getting your work minted and then up and create it into an NFT and start and deal with the technical side of this is really important, because the more you understand about it and the trials and tribulations, I think that will help in the long run, because, in these rooms, some of it gets really deep where they talk about the financial aspects. And like Miguel and I were just talking about how to move your money from online into a cold wallet, meaning taking it offline so people don't hack your shit. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is also needs to be in your conscious. So I think, for me, like Miguel did, try to get one or two pieces up so I can go through that process real quick and then see what happens, because there's going to be a lot of errors being made.
Yeah, people are saying they're putting stuff up and they're making it wrong, and you can't unblock the blockchain. So if you misspell your name, that's how it's going to be up forever. You could burn it, you could take it off the blockchain by just deleting it, but that even costs you money. But at the end of the day, you got to put yourself out there, start learning it, and deal with the trials and tribulation of it all, because it's never going to get hard. It's never going to get easier. It's going to get harder. More and more people are getting into every day. I put up my piece 5 days ago. It's still not verified because so many people are trying to get on right now that they're saying they're backed up for a long time. They got like 9 employees and there's thousands of people trying to upload their stuff. That's just going to keep getting more and more worse, And
what Miguel's talking about, he's talking about OpenSea, which is
OpenSea.
One platform.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of platforms that you can put different art up. So that's also part of the process. So a lot of the other artists who are doing it are saying you can do OpenSea, which has less verification. You can do Rarible. You can do Mintable. I think it's Mintable.
Yeah, Mintable.
And so there's different platforms to showcase your work, and different artists are showcasing different parts of their art on these different platforms. And I think that's also, again, part of the process. So I think us in the room just need to get up there and start doing it and start figuring it out on what works best for them. Again, it's all new. So
Omar, before Zerodium giving an answer, I had a continuation of my question. And right now, when I check the minting, especially the gas prices, especially at the congested times, are very high on Ethereum platform. And this is like a bit high for, let's say, the Polish young artists, because here at young artist auctions, sometimes like the prices starts from around 100 something euro,
So that's the thing. There's a foundation. I'm not sure if I remember it. I'm not sure if you remember it, Omar. there's a foundation that will pay the gas fees for the artist. There's even opportunity for investors to pay the gas fee and then take a percentage of the sale as it grows.
Also, the little hack, Mahet, you can try and start uploading your work on off hours. So one of the guys were on East Coast, and he was talking about gas fees, and he said when he was
when China goes to sleep, right?
Right. Whatever time zone you're in, when everybody else is asleep is when you should start uploading. So for me on the East Coast in New York City, he gave the time of 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. when everybody else is asleep. The gas fees are lower because it's not so much of a bottleneck. So maybe you can try that and see if the prices are fluctuating.
So there's another big thing that OpenSea does not charge you gas fees until the person buys it. So if you put it on,
no, that's not true. I'm on OpenSea and I got charged gas fees when I uploaded. I have a couple of points that I can add. If
go ahead. I didn't pay. But go ahead, go.
I got verified on OpenSea, and basically, like, sometimes, like, they'll be very strict, going back to the idea of how did they verified. I actually had to make a video next to the artwork. I'm a painter and I'm a filmmaker, before they verified me, because apparently there was somebody else that was already using my work.
Whoa.
So
but that's cool that they have an AI that's just checking that out. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know how strict they are or what, but like I waited for several days, and then I also joined this app that they have that called Discord, and that's when you can talk to the Alex and all the people and all the admins that are involved, and it was very, very useful. But like it was uphill for me. And the other thing that I wanted to add with the wallets is like, I really recommend people have a hard wallet, because when your Ethereum or your Bitcoin or whatever you have is on the market and it gets, it can be hacked and taken away. But when you put it onto I have a Trezor, which is like a hard wallet that you connect to the computer.
How do you spell that? T what?
Trezor. They're
Trezor. Okay.
They're like 200 or something like that. There's different types. And also like some of them they won't hold all coins. So I have actually 3 hard wallets, but the Trezor is the one that it's like a USB and you connect it, and it works for Ethereum, which is what it's important for this. And like every time that you do a transaction, even like following someone, the Trezor asks you to put your PIN number, so that way there's no nobody can hack your computer and then hack the Trezor. Like even if they got that far, they would still need to know your private PIN before they did any transaction. There's also this thing about like whitelisting addresses, so that if anybody gets into your into your wallet, it can only be sent back to you.
You mean like the .eth names?
Exactly.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, if you don't know what that means, you know how you can buy your .com? You could try to buy your name .com. I'm Miguel Sanchez, so that's like impossible, right? But you can buy Miguel Sanchez .eth, and then, right? Is that what you mean?
No. So basically, when you have your wallet, you have the public key and then you have the private key. This is something very important for all of you. Never, ever, ever, ever give away your private key, because
the phrase, right? That's the phrase.
Yeah, that's no, that's not the phrase.
Oh my God! See, I've been in rooms for 2 weeks and I still don't know this stuff.
Sit down. I'm gonna tell you.
Moderator.
May I just add something to that point on the Trezor and all the hardware wallet and cold storage solutions? Just like as a friendly reminder on the cybersecurity side of it, please just buy them from the provider directly. Don't get those hardware wallets from Amazon or secondhand sellers.
Oh wow, yeah, it makes sense.
Very easily, and that's a huge security flaw. Many people, especially in Zurich and Zug, got victim of bought the Trezor, Digibyte, or Ledger on second-hand auctions, and all of the crypto assets, millions and millions of Bitcoin or IOTA, for example, got stolen like that. Just as in, fun
wow,
or something.
No, but that makes sense. All right, Oscar, what were you saying?
So basically, when you're on OpenSea, for instance, and you have like your username, for instance, with me it's AussieLA, and then underneath is the address, right? That's the public key. But your hard wallet, your Trezor wallet has a private key,
And whenever it asks for your permission to do anything, it'll ask you for permissions for your external key. But the thing that I wanted to say that is really, really important, your private key, it's yours, and you should never give it away to someone, to any website or anything, because once they figure out your private key, they can steal all of your money. So you'll have two addresses for Ethereum. The one that you have like online, which is public, which is part of the blockchain, and then an internal one, which is private, and that's where the money is actually stored. So there's that distinction.
See, but
this
is so crazy.
I just wanted to like add one other little final thing. One of the things that I want to do, like I have a film that I'm shooting in the summer, if the pandemic allows. And what I'm kind of doing is that I'm reaching out to artists that are like doing titles or music or editing and like using the blockchain as a way to sort of like share files as smart contracts. So for instance, instead of somebody, sending me a painting like as a gift, they'll send me the gift, but then like on the file that it's attached, it can be the score to a film or a variety of things, an edit of a scene. So that's also a very interesting way in which we can collaborate with each other. That we like through the blockchain we agree to sort of collaborate together, and it's verifiable that I am me and you are you, but the ways that we can just like bring different elements to create something that it's alive and just moving. It's actually really exciting. Like, for instance, the idea of like hiding an NFT inside an artwork for people to discover, or you can hide it inside a film, or you can, all those different ideas are just mind blowing. So I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to thank you for doing this because it's super helpful, and I really want to be a part of it. So thanks for doing these rooms.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming and listening, and everybody who's here. This is like, I think as creatives, we're all super excited. We're all like addicted to understanding this because it's a game changer for creators. Like I know me, Omar, and Reno, we grew up being artists in school, and we all had to go take career paths that we probably wouldn't have if this was something that we could have worked younger and had our own path. So I believe the whole creative world is realizing that potential, and that's why it's such a big buzz, because literally if you're a musician, a sculptor, painter, digital artist, you see a path now towards your like history, right? Like you can create your own your own place in history and make money on it forever, for your family, for everybody. So it's a super exciting time, and I'm addicted, but I'm going to continue to make these rooms. So for you, Oscar, go to infinitecollabs.art. If the URL is not working, hit me up, DM me, put what you want to collaborate with so I can connect you to people that have filled it out that match what you need. And my goal is, again, I already filled that form. Okay, awesome. Thank you. People are filling it out like crazy all day. That's awesome. So basically,
Miguel, can we hear a bit the Rodium about the scene in Switzerland and his vicinity? How are the situation there?
Well, as Miguel mentioned before, it's literally wild west going on here as well. I mean, we have Crypto Valley. I'm not sure if you heard of that before, but it's like basically Silicon Valley just for crypto and blockchain. I mean, Ethereum got founded here. Major crypto players are working here to have their offices here and so on. And what we're currently experiencing here is that it's the rule first come, first serve, and the guidelines, the rules still need to be defined, like what you can do, what is possible. And yeah, I am currently here in contact with one of the curators and leading, I guess, not artists, but like we work together on a project. My company I was hired to work in, we sponsored the CryptoPunks Gallery in Zurich by Kate Voss and John Watkins. And it's really crazy what's happening here. Like in Zug, every day some other guy comes up with a new idea, what to tokenize, what to develop, what to do. And the options and the possibilities are endless.
Endless.
We have a saying here, just tokenize everything.
And this is the best time, really. Like we all have to embrace. This is why I am on these rooms 24/7 right now, because the Wild Wild West time, every time in history, this is the best time. I remember seeing this for the web when the web first came out. I remember seeing this when mobile apps first came out. You know, Bitcoin, AR, augmented reality, right? Like this time is when it's really easy to make friends across the world, learn information. And now you are one of very few who have this information. Even if you are getting in now, you're still representing a small fraction of the population
100%.
of artists and all that.
Exactly. And I mean, it's the best time to get those connections, to meet the right people that are like in the same thing as you are, or more or less just an NFT or blockchain. And I mean, concerning comparison, you can almost compare it to ICOs in 2016, 2017.
Yep.
Like at the right time, at the right place. And I mean, if you get your project done right now, you're gonna make millions or more even out of the whole NFT vortex we are seeing right now.
If you think about it, there's very, very few big stories, right? There's still, most of those stories are not unknown people. These people had large followings. Like Beeple created a new piece of artwork every day for 13 years. It's not like this guy's come out of nowhere. Like he grew a fan base for 13 years, making art every single day, posting it all over social media every day for 13 years. Then he cashed in once this was ready, right? So, this is work. It's not like it could be luck too, but once you put something up, you're going to have to market it. This is why I said it brings together creativity, entrepreneurship, technology, and investing, because what's happening here is these things are an investment. So you should keep a version of your own work. Like I showed you, the guy having 100 and keeping 10. If you're creating a piece of work, that's why my first one, I'm not selling. I'm going to put out probably another 10 of 10. And that one I'm keeping for myself, right? And that will go to my kids, right? Because if anything ever blows up one day, I want my kids to be able to sell one, right? So you got to think about it like in all those four aspects, in my opinion. So any final words? I know we've been going for a long time, and I actually got to run. I can make somebody else the moderator, but any final? Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, brother. Like I've known you for a long time. I know how passionate you are about the tech space. I know you definitely. I've been in my head about it for the last couple of weeks, and you definitely made it a lot more easier. So thank you.
And me and Reno, actually, one of the first animations I ever made for the web was your drawing. I don't know if you remember that. So we gotta make that happen again. We're gonna have to make one of our collabs.
I do remember.
You remember, right? We go back way back on this art and animation thing. So anybody else? Any final questions or comments?
Miguel, I just want to thank you for hosting those awesome rooms. Great work you're doing here, pushing the community and bringing people together. And I'm definitely going to check out your website. It's infinite collabs.art.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely check it out tomorrow and ping you up on the site. Just a little shout out of myself. If you're interested in knowing what's happening in Zoo, Crypto Valley, and everything around here, just DM me or hit up my profile. I've linked my Telegram name on there, and just give me a call or just text me on Telegram.
And everybody follow each other, because the more people you have in this space, I'm telling you, you never know where a $1 million connection comes from. Like I've literally gotten speaking engagements in other countries from being in rooms like this, physical world time. So now this is a new world. This Clubhouse thing is real.
Yeah, good room, brother. I like that you keep the conversation going. I learn every time.
Thank you, Fresh.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Like this has been fantastic, and thank you for everybody that is here as well. I'm Aussie LA in Instagram. If everybody wants to add me, and I'll add them right back.
Yes. Everybody follow each other.
This is my first time in this room. That's why I'm a little bit like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? But like, I'm always there.
So also put that on your bio, Ozzy. Like put it in the bio, just so we all anytime it's easier to.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
It's the same one. It's all right, perfect.
Cool.
Thank you all of you guys and Oscar, Omar, and for the information, and Miguel. It was also good to you, and Fresh made also nice comments with Reno. I'm satisfied, and Rhodium that is great to and keep in touch. And I don't have Telegram, but probably I should start. If you can also DM me over Instagram, I have some ideas to talk with you.
We'll do.
Sure, yeah.
Great to catch up.
We'll do.
Have a great day then.
All right, everybody, be safe and stay in these NFT rooms. Let's keep doing this. I hope to collab with each one of you. And let's keep it going. Thank you for coming out. Just turn it on your phone. And
Take care, guys.
all right.
Good night, everyone.
Peace.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Good morning. Peace.
Good morning. All right, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all of you.